Welcome to 47th episode, if I'm not mistaken, but it's the 70th video, right, of this channel. So if you just join us, my name is Bird, and today I'm going to be talking about compound interest. A lot of people don't really understand compound interest. I mean, I think I did it back in school, financial maths and stuff, but like for a lot of us, we don't really know how to like kind of apply compound interest in our lives. And that's kind of what this episode is about, right? I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. What I am, though, is an entrepreneur and an investor. So I share my investment thesis. I share what I think I know, what I think I understand, in the hope that like a lot of you can like correct me or just like give me more information, you know, as limited as it may be, and onto the things that I think I know and the things that I think I understand. So do your own research, develop your own investment thesis, and come back to these videos, get to the comments, like, subscribe, share, and let's like kind of help each other learn, build, and grow as we try to reach financial independence so that we can retire early. I mean, yeah, and again, retiring early means different things for different people, but it just means that you are financially independent. You do not necessarily have to depend on a job to live the lifestyle that you want. So on this episode, again, compound interest. Yo, man, Albert Einstein is found to have said that, right, apparently that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Those who do not understand it will pay it, and those who understand it will earn it. And I think that's so fucking true. I mean, if you have like credit card debt or any other kind of debt, little machonis and things like that, if they're making you pay compound interest, you might not understand it, but you're like, hi man, why am I always like paying off the interest and never really paying off the initial capital that I borrowed, right? You're always just paying off like the interest, but you're never really dealing with your initial amount that you borrowed. It's because that interest is getting compounded. And that is what this video, this episode is about. So, I mean, I can like start with the equation if we want, but I don't think people are really gonna get it. But I'm just gonna show you the equations because, well, you know, here we are. This one is for simple interest, right? Simple interest is your initial amount multiplied by your interest rate multiplied by the time, and then you get how much you should be getting back. You know, yeah, you put in 100, they tell you that you'll get 10% after 1 year, and then you do the math, and then you get your money. While compound interest is a little bit more tricky. Compound interest is, again, the initial amount multiplied by, remember the brackets, 1 plus the interest rate over the number of times it's going to compound, all to the power of the number of times it's going to compound and time. All right. So again, like I said, this is like a little bit more complicated, but if you really want to understand compound interest, I suggest you learn these equations so that when you're sitting by yourself and you're making investments, you can almost kind of assume and calculate how much money you're going to get back. Right? But this is like the easiest way I can show people how compound interest works. Again, like it is, I think mostly people experience it if they invest in like the stock exchange and stuff. You know, you get back your dividends and your reinvestment, you reinvest them. That's like the easiest way I think people, myself included, get compound interest. But even like when you're buying and selling stuff, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you know, compound interest is really, really important to understand. And also like, not everybody's an entrepreneur that's trying to make money. Like, I think we need to get that clear. Not everybody's a business person who's trying to make money. I don't think like Forex traders are consider themselves business people or entrepreneurs. They're just people who are trying to make money, you know, and there's nothing wrong. All of us, even business people, entrepreneurs, we're trying to make money. Some people are trying to like create products and services that change the world. Some people just want money, you know, bottom line. And I think that understanding these things will help anybody who's just trying to make money, because this is millionaire mathematics. This is money mathematics. Money is a game. Understanding money, just like understanding Monopoly, means understanding the rules of the game of money. And a lot of these rules relate to the amount of interest that you're earning or paying, right? So let's get right into understanding simply, the difference between compound interest and simple interest. Okay, so Bird wants to invest 100 Rand in a bank. Né? He's gonna, you know, it's a once-off investment. I'm not gonna add 100 Rand every month. It's just 100 Rand. And I want to come back maybe in 5 years and see how much money I have, right? With that 100 Rand that I invested. I maybe got 100 Rand for my gran or something. She just passed away. She left me the 100 Rand. I'm like, you know what? Let me not waste this money. Let me put it away for 5 years. After 5 years, I'll see what I'll do, right? So how much money am I expected to have after 5 years? You know, compound versus simple interest. Okay. So again, basic. Year 1, your initial investment, 100 Rand. You know, you put that 100 Rand in, and then they say 10% per year. Just make it easy. You get 10% every year. Simple interest. So you put your 100 Rand in. In year 1, 10% is what? 10 Rand, right? 10 Rand. 10% of 100 is 10. So you add that, then you have 110 Rands at the end of year 1. And that's simple interest of 10%, right? Now get to year 2. Year 2, you're still getting 10%, but you're only getting 10% again of that initial investment. So what's 10% of that 100 Rand is still 10 Rand, meaning they're going to add that 10 Rand onto the 110 that you had last year, and now at the end of the year 2, you have 120. You see that? And then we're going to year 3. Again, in year 3, they're going to give you 10% of your initial investment, 10% of the 100 Rand that you put in the beginning. 10% of 100 Rand is 10 Rand, but at the end of year 2, you had 120. So now you have 130 because they added the 10 Rands. Year 4, same thing. They're giving you 10% of your initial investment. You're still getting 10 Rand because your initial investment was 100 Rand, but it's added onto the money you had last year. So now 130 becomes 140. And then in year 5, which is what we're trying to do, understand how much money we'll have in 10 years. If we put 100 Rand away at a simple interest of 10%, in year 5, you'll have 150. So that 100 Rand, that klipa that your grandma gave you, is now 150 because you've left it to sit in an investment account of simple interest, 10% per year. Now you have 150. Like, what would then be the difference again if you were compounding? If the investment had compound interest or you put it in a vehicle that was compounding interest. Going back to your initial investment. In year 1, your initial investment was 100 Rand. Here it is. Now, at the end of year 1, you get your 10% of your initial investment. It's 110. Here it is. But at the end of year 2, they are not going to go back to your initial investment. This money is compounding. What they're going to do is they're going to calculate 10% of what you had at the end of year 2. And when they give you 10% of 110, you end up with 121. Now, you remember in year 2 when it was simple, you had 120, so there's like a 1 Rand difference. Like, just 1 Rand, just 1 Rand. Cool, yes, it's just 1 Rand, but it's 1 Rand more that you didn't have if you were in a simple interest. But now let's go to year 3. Year 3, again, they're giving you 10% of your... It's still at 10%, but it's compounding. So they're going to give you 10% of the compounded amount that you had. You had 121, remember? So they're giving you 10% of 121, which is what? 21 Rands. It's not 10 Rand anymore. I mean, it's 12 Rands. It's not 10. Remember, initially you got 10 Rand every year because that was 10%. But now in year 3, the 10% of the compounded amount is now 21 Rands. I mean, 12 Rands. So there's a whole 2 Rand extra that you're getting. And when it compounds at the end of year 3, you have 131, 133 and 10 cents. Remember, you had 130, but now you have 133 and 10 cents. Again, the same thing. In year 4, you get 10% of this. You're not going to go back to the initial because you're compounding. Again, so what's 10% of this? It's 13 Rands. Remember, you only got 10 Rand. Now you're getting 13 Rands in year 4. You have 146 Rand, 41 cents. All the way up to year 5 when you have 160 and 60 cents. You see the difference? You see the difference? So in 5 years, with simple interest, you only made 50 Rands. But with compound interest, you made 60 Rand and 60 cents. Now, this is a very small amount and it's a once-off investment. But again, it shows you that there is a whole... See, you literally got another extra 10%. 150 to 160 is 10 Rands. And that's 10% of the initial investment. So you're able to artificially, by compounding, have almost 10% more in the same amount of time. It's magic. That's why Albert Einstein was like, yo, if you don't get it, you're going to pay it. If you do get it, you'll earn it. It is the 8th wonder of the world. So you see that this is the basic difference. The basic difference between simple interest and compound interest, and why compound interest is so important. So again, remember, if you're a shareholder and you earn dividends, that is one of the best ways for you to clearly, visibly compound your money. Because now you got dividends, right, from ShopRite or wherever. Instead of now withdrawing that money and saying, oh yeah, I made 10% dividends this year. You're saying, no. I'm reinvesting those dividends into buying more shares. Now next year, instead of getting 10% of 1 share, you're getting 10% of 2 shares because you've compounded that money. And that is the power of compound interest. And that's why it's so important for everybody to understand compound interest and to practice and find ways in their lives where they can compound the money that they're earning. I hope that makes sense. Again, simple difference. In 5 years, you've literally made 10% more just by having a compound interest versus a simple interest, because the compound interest works on your already earned money. It doesn't refer back to your initial investment and only give you dividends on that or give you profit on that or give you returns on that. It actually says this money that I'm giving this guy or the money that's coming here has to compound. We are going to aggregate it after every payment, and then next year or next month, the next quarter, depending on your investment plan or whatever you're investing in, we are going to compound it using the previously earned interest too, instead of always again reverting to just that initial investment. Now imagine if you're again adding 100 Rand extra every year. I get it, this one was just like a once-off payment in 5 years, but now imagine if every year you're adding an extra 100 Rand, how much more even that would compound. And that is the power of compound interest. I really did try to simplify it, but again, like, if you want to understand the formulas, go understand the formulas, but this is like the power of compound interest, and like I said, the best way that a lot of us practice compound interest, especially if we sell stuff, is in the rule of doubles, in the law of doubles. The law of doubles is other beautiful millionaire maths. I am actually trying to, in my own life, I think compound interest, I don't really invest in like dividend paying stuff as much. Like I hold a lot of Tesla. Tesla doesn't pay dividends. So so there's that. Microsoft pays dividends. I have some Microsoft that pays dividends. So that's the one place where I get to participate in compound interest. But I know that in my business, right, the day-to-day stuff that I sell, I try to compound it, and I try to compound it using the rule of double, and the rule of double is more millionaire maths. So the rule of double says, to get wealth quickly is just about doubling the amount of money that you have as many times as possible, right? So if you have 1,000 Rands, you double it, you get 2,000. You double that 2,000, you have 4,000. You double that 4,000, you have 8,000, right? So look at that. How many times do you need to double 1,000 to get to 1 million, right? 1,000 doubled is 2, 2 doubled is 4, 4 doubled is 8, 8 doubled is 16, 32, 64, 128, 526, 500 something, and 1 million. So at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. So all you gotta do is double your 1,000 10 times. But again, you're not necessarily doubling 1,000 to 2 and then doubling another 1,000 to 2 and then doubling another 1,000 to 2. Nah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's why I'm saying like millionaire maths is so vital. It's so crucial to understand, in your business, if you have like targets and you're trying to achieve certain targets, you're like, oh, how do I apply the rule of doubling or the rule of compounding into my business so that I can get to reach my targets quicker? Now, for example, someone like me who sells like shades and accessories and stuff, I have 1,000 Rands, I buy 1,000 pairs of shades, and if I sell them at 100% profit, I'll get 2,000. Now, am I gonna now buy the 2,000 more shades so that I can sell them again? Like, I bought one shade for 1 Rand and I bought 1,000 shades, which I doubled 2,000. So it's like, okay, so Millionaire Med says double this 2,000. So I'm either gonna buy 2,000 shades and sell them again at double to get 4,000, and then get to 4,000, buy 4,000 shades and get them to 8,000. And that's like scaling, that's like how you scale your business. But when like your business is kind of like tough to scale, either because of location, but I don't know, depending on whatever it is you sell, maybe you sell cakes and you're the only one, so it's limited to just you. So there are kind of limitations to you scaling your business before you can hire people and stuff like that helps you scale. How do you effectively practice the rule of doubles? And for me, it's like getting higher value products, right? So I bought 1,000 shades, I sold them at 2,000. Now, instead of like buying 1,000 shades at 1 Rand, now I'm buying 1,000 shades that cost 2,000 and try to sell them at 4 Rand so that I can get 4,000, And then maybe now, because I have 4,000, I can maybe buy like bags, right? Buy 40 bags for 10 Rand and then sell them, at double, and then now I have 8,000. So like, that's the trick. You always have to be finding like a higher priced point or a product or service at a higher price point in order to kind of double that 4,000. Because it's harder to say, I'll buy 10,000 shades and then flip all of those 10,000 shades in the next year in order to make my 20,000. Like, it's a lot more effort. Like the effort to sell 1,000 shades and 10,000 is completely different. You know what I'm saying? So it might be harder for your business, for your small business, to effectively compound the money that it makes, because you're thinking, okay, yes, I'll buy more stock, but like, if the number of stuff that I sell is if I have a cap on how many shades that I can sell, if I have a limit how many shades that I can sell, then it'll be very, very hard for you to actually effectively apply this rule of doubling. So it means like getting products and services that cost at a higher price point so that you can effectively double the amount of money that you have. So you can go from like shades to like maybe pricier shades to like bags to maybe pricier bags. And with every step, you're kind of, again, doubling the amount of money that you have because you're selling the stuff that you're selling maybe at a, at 100% markup. So I think that's like I don't know, man. Maybe I'm all in my feelings because I'm also still trying to figure out how to effectively find products and services in my own life, in my own business. But this is like the rule of double, as simple as I can put it. It just means that if you have 1,000 rands, all you gotta do is double it 10 times to get to 1 million, but with a compounding double, because you're not just doubling 1,000 to 2, double 1,000 again, you have 2, double 1,000 again, now you have 3, double 1,000 again, you have 4, double 1,000 again, you have 5. You see, no, you have to double the compounded amount that you received last time. That's like the rule of doubles works a lot like compound interest, because you see, now we have 2,000, we're doubling this 2,000 now, we're compounding to 4,000. We're doubling this 4,000, we're compounding, we have 8,000. We're doubling this 8,000, we're compounding, we have 16,000. We're not necessarily always going back to say, let me double 1,000. Even though I have 4,000, I'm only going to use 1,000 and double it. I have 5,000, I'm only going to use a double and 1,000 and double it. I have 6,000, I'm going to use 1,000. Well, I understand that's like slow growth, and that's where I can say maybe me or other entrepreneurs find themselves stuck where yes, you've made a profit, but now you don't know how to effectively reinvest the profit in your business in order to double it again, because yes, you have a shades, perfect, you sell 100 shades a month, perfect. Now it means you have to sell 200 shades a month, or you can maybe now start selling something else like sneakers or shoes, or that are actually are worth that 10,000 a month. You have 500 sneakers that you're selling for 2,000. I mean, yeah, for whatever the math is. And then you have 10,000 a month. So that's the effective way to apply the rule of doubles, is to always find products and services with a higher markup that will be able to swallow that 4,000. Again, I'm not going to buy like 4,000 shades knowing that I sell 100 shades a month. That's like 40 months of sales that I have to do. You know what I'm saying? But if I can find another product or service, because thank God I've been able to sell my shades from last month. Now I have like a little extra money because of my profit, and I want to reinvest it. It means finding a product or service with a higher profit margin, with a higher selling price that will effectively help you to double 128,000. Because doubling 1,000 is easy, guys. Let's tell the truth. Doubling 1,000 is easy. You buy cigarettes, you buy Cool Time, you buy more fire, you go to the streets, you sell it. But now once you have like 128,000, are you going to go to the street getting more fire? How many more fires are you going to need to sell to double this 128,000? Yes, you can hire people. Again, that's scaling. But where? Not as an individual. Getting more fire again. Getting Cool Time. Getting cigarettes. It's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to now find something else that will be able to absorb that 128,000. Whether it's the stock market or whether it's, buying a taxi. I don't know. I mean, but the point is you have to find a product or service at that higher price point that will be able to absorb the money that you made and give you the return in interest in the form of doubling, so that once you can effectively find a product or service at every level of this doubling, just with 10 doubles, you'll get to 1 million. And some people do this. I mean, I've seen YouTube videos of people saying, oh, I have like a cup, I'm going to trade this cup and see how quickly I can get to a car, and they effectively double the value of whatever they're trading with. Up to the point where they're trading with a car. That is a compound interest, and that is the rule of doubles. That is another way to apply the rule of doubles. You have to keep finding, something at a higher price point, a product or service at a higher price point, in order to effectively get to your target, whether it's 1 million, whether it's 1 billion, or so on and so forth. So yeah, man, I hope this was clear enough. I really thought this video was gonna be shorter, but this video is really, really important as it relates to understanding money and how to use money in your life to achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve, as it relates to millionaire mathematics, or as it relates to compounding interest, or as it relates to the rule of doubles. I'm going to have another video when I get into other topics that help us reach our financial goals much easier, so that we can understand the rules of money and play this game a lot more effectively. This game of real life Monopoly. Where you have to pay taxes and rent and go to jail and pay bonds and bail, and yo, man, money is a game, guys. Unfortunately, money is a game, even though our lives depend on it. And the best way to kind of win is to understand the rules of the game. Once you know the rules, you play it. Thank you for watching my video on compound interest and the rule of double. I hope you find value in it. Share with anybody who you think will also find value in it. And let us reach our financial goals that much quicker and retire early. Thank you. Bye.